looks like we are set up for streaming at the moment. All right, yeah, there's a screen going out there now, Bobby.
Yeah, 10-4. Okay, yeah, I'm just curious as to how this audio chain sounds on the gate. I still have, like I was telling you, I still have that other one I was on last time I was here. You know, I have that other. What does it sound like? You know, going off of memory.
Not by going off of memory, I would say it sounds wonderful. But if you bring up the other one, I can play them back to back, and I can listen to them back to back.
All right, let me get my monitor turned on and get Reaper opened up here. It's you know, I just roll with everything turned off. I mean, there's no point. Can't look at it going down the road anyway. So, yeah, just give me a second and let me pull that one up. By the way, real quick, just from what you're hearing, what does the reverb sound like? Are you hearing any in there? Because I don't hear a whole lot in my headphones, and that usually means there's not enough out there, but not always. You know what I mean?
Nope, I hear it. It's plenty. It's perfect. It's noticeable, but not unbearable or over the top. It's adding what you want to add, I believe, that little bit of ambience and fullness. I like the reverb. It's perfect.
At 10-4, yeah, this thing got hung up there. All right, this is the old chain. This is the other one that I was on last time I was here. For some reason, I couldn't get it to key up or switch over very fast. It usually takes about 2 or 3 seconds. So let me switch over to the other one. I'll stay keyed. Okay, and this is the new one. You know, there's not a whole lot of difference between the two. I've made quite a few changes, but none real big, but you know how that goes. I mean, it could add up to a lot by the time it gets to the end there. But just off the top of what you're hearing, was there much difference in there?
I would say absolutely. The bass, there's a fuller, deeper, richer, more open sound in the bottom end. And I'm going to play it back for you. Here it goes. Let me edit out some of the silence. I'll make it much shorter. Right about here. All right, now I'll play this back for you. Here it goes.
Yeah, this thing got hung up there. All right, this is the old chain. This is the other one that I was on last time I was here. For some reason, I couldn't get it to key up or switch over very fast. It usually takes about 2 or 3 seconds. So let me switch over to the other one. I'll stay keyed. Okay, and this is the new one.
Rich, round, open, clean, good sound to it. I like it.
Okay, now, are you talking about this chain that I'm on right now or the other chain? Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of. I think this one's got. Does this one sound like it's got enough in?
So the first one that you came in there with before you made the long pop, came in with the new one. The first one had better bottom end, better fullness, openness, a tad bit louder maybe, but not much. Yeah, I like the first one that you came up in there with.
Okay, like you're talking about the first one when I first started talking to you, because that's the one I'm on right now. This is the one I started talking to you with. This is kind of the revised version of that original one.
Okay, well, you gotta do the test back to back one more time, but let me go ahead and do the back to back. So the one you're on right now is the new revised one, and now switch to the one that was the other one, the old one.
Okay, so this is the new revised one. We're still on this one, and let me switch over to the original one. Okay, so this is the original one. To me, this one sounded a little bit tight and didn't really have too much bottom end in it. So what do you think?
I think it has better bottom end, and it sounds better. Here, listen, I'm playing back to back. Here goes.
Okay, so this is the new revised one. We're still on this one. And let me switch over to the original one. Okay, so this is the original one. To me, this one sounded a little bit tight and didn't really have too much bottom end in it. Okay, so this is the new revised one. We're still on this one. And didn't really have too much bottom end in it.
Bottom end on the new revised one is borderline garbly. Borderline. And the old one sounds cleaner and better all around. I like the old one.
All right. Yeah, I could hear that. Let me pull some of this bottom end out. Let me go down a little bit. Okay, I pulled some of that bottom end out. That make any difference right there? It was at, well, it's not in decibels. It was at 15, but I pulled it down to 13.5. That change anything or didn't make any difference at all? What do you think?
That borderline garbly sound is still there. Listen for it. I'm going to play this back. I'll play part of it back here.
Some of that bottom end out. That make any difference right there? It was at, well, it's not in decibels. It was at 15, but I pulled it.
No, that bottom end is still too much and too heavy. I like the other one better by a long shot. I think you should just switch back over.
Okay, now we're back on the original one. All right, yeah, you know, there was something in the bottom end that was kind of bugging me. It seemed like it was a little tight and a little thin. Yeah, I'll look at that. And I know there was where I was high passing, it wasn't that good. A little bit high. Let me change the high pass here. See if that makes any difference.
You gotta remember, I'm listening on the SDR that I'm cutting the highs off on 5 kilohertz, but my lows go down lower than the lows in your monitor radio. And if you're listening to the monitor radio, I'm listening to the lows on this radio, I might be hearing something different than what you are. So, yeah, I like this one. I like it with the less bottom end up in there. It's got plenty of bottom end on my end.
Yeah, 10-4. Well, you know, I mean, it's kind of tricky, you know. Some of the locals I was talking to, and you know, in general, that was kind of the thing. You know, it didn't have the bottom end in there that they were kind of used to hearing. I just went from 53 hertz down to 48 hertz, and that's not a big jump, but sometimes that'll kind of open things up a little bit. Can you hear any difference in there right now? This is the old chain with, instead of 53 hertz, it's at 48. Now I'm going to switch it back to its original setting. Hold on. Okay, now we're back at 53 hertz on the bottom end. And so I don't know. Did you hear a difference between those two?
Not appreciable, no.
10-4, okay. Well, yeah. I don't know, man. It's tricky. It's real tricky. Because, you know, I don't know. I'll have to work on it.
Well, I don't think there's too much to work on. I sure like it. It sounds incredibly good over here. And it sounds good on the playback. And I think you're going to like what you hear on the live feed. So, yeah, pretty decent. How do you like this session that I've got going on here? It's not too much different, I don't think, than the last time you were here. I don't think I did any changes. I think I just merged the two together and then switched back and forth. But, yeah, this should sound pretty decent. They're break.
No, it actually sounds, it does sound different. It's cleaner. Sounds more balanced. It doesn't sound, it sounded good before, you know, from what I remember. I didn't hear anything in there that stuck out. Right now, I think the thing that sticks out to me from my memory is right now you sound a little bit cleaner than you did before. I like that. It's not over the top crazy, but it's still got that, you know, that motor mouth mall sound in there. So I like it.
Right, sure. Good deal. Yeah, I'm still running quite a lot of mic gain, and still got to, you know, as you could tell by earlier, I was moving things around and making a lot of noise in the studio, and it's, you know, pretty susceptible to whatever kind of noises there are in the background. If I move the chair around, or if I move around or touch things on the desk, you know, it it picks up everything there is to pick up. But, yeah, it seems clean. It's got a good bottom end, good grunt. And I'm about, 8 inches away from the mic right now. I can get closer to the microphone. And there's the dog in the background. He's a long way away from the microphone. And it's my headphones. Anyway, yeah, I have no idea how that sounds when I get right up on top of it. They're breaking. Motor mouth mall, stepping.
You know, it actually didn't change that much. I mean, you do get a little bit of proximity kind of effect in there, but it didn't change a whole lot. So you're probably not eating a whole bunch, which is good, because you know what that does. Yeah, I'm back on the new revised one, but I took out some of the bass additive that I was adding in there. Does it still sound like it's got that garbled sound that you were hearing earlier?
Nope, that's gone. The garbledness is totally eliminated. And Augie agrees. Sounds good.
Okay, so I think I know what it was. Yeah, I was doing a little bump down there. What was it? 110 hertz or something like that. Okay, and I got a little low shelf at 0.0 audio.
Nope, still sounds good.
All right. Hey, what gates are you using on that?
Let's see here. Where does the file start? Where's my keyboard? Here it is. I haven't messed with this in a while. Let me see here. Let me scroll up to the top and see. I forgot by memory. I couldn't tell you what this has. There've been so many changes. So, all right. Let's see here. So we've got right off the bat. There's an expander noise gate. It's an ATK expander. And I gotta go close the door. Hold on. Jackie's making some food. I'm going to go inside and see how that's going. Once I eat, I'll come back out here again. But, so yeah, there's an ATK expander, and then there's an Equilibre, parametric EQ. And then there's an isotope ozone, of which I'm using the the loudness maximizer, a little bit of parametric equalizer, multi-band harmonic exciter. Yeah, quite a lot of that on the bass and the mids, a little bit on the highs. 3-band compressor compressor. And then there's a reverb, Oro River reverb. And then below that, there's another Equilibre. And then below that, there is a thing called Smash Pro. A JB Smash Pro. It's kind of like a Compander. And it's fairly aggressive right now. It's pretty damn aggressive. And then that's going into a isotope alloy. Oh, the isotope ozone probably has a little bit of gating in the 3-band compressor. I think I've got each band set up with a little bit of threshold for gating. The answer to that is, yeah, I do. Threshold is set somewhere around -46, whatever that means. Anyway, it's quite a bit of gating in all 3 bands. Then there's a Smash Pro, and then there's a final isotope alloy. And it's got an EQ and dynamics. And I'm using the limiter at the very tail end of it. And that's the output of the chain. And pretty simple to break. I did all that before the doggone radio and keyed. It's got a 3-minute timer under President Richard.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I like that maximizer. That's what I'm using. You know, at the very end of my chain, I got that set up to where, you know, it's got the true peak limiting, and it definitely does a good job at controlling everything. Now you were saying, what was that? A smash mouth? Not a smash mouth. I don't remember. What is that?
JB Smash Pro. It's a free plug-in. You can get it from the VSTforfree.com website. I love that website. All kinds of good stuff. Equilibre is free. Smash Pro is free. Oro River Reverb is free. a lot of my chain is free. Couple things I'm using, isotope ozone and isotope alloy are not, but the others are. Yeah, Smash Pro is like a compressor and an expander, and you can adjust the threshold and the attack and release times of all the bands. I've got this one set up right now, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 bands. You can put as few or many bands as you want, and it's really incredible piece of plug-in. It's pretty cool. So I think it's responsible for the fact that I can get up on top of the microphone really, really close like that right there, or really far away. It's about 2 feet away right there. So it gives me a lot of leeway. But it's pretty, like I said, it's set pretty aggressive right now. I started with some preset. I forget what it was. It was probably, let me see, can I come out to it here? Presets. It doesn't say what preset I started with. Anyway, I picked a preset that was already there. I think it was, oh no, when I see it. I think it was Mix First Aid Warm. And then I played around with a little, from there, messed around with it a little bit. But yeah, Smash Pro, pretty cool.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure what it was, so it's basically just a multi-band compressor. Yeah, that sounds good. And when you were right up on the mic and you got 2 feet back, I mean, if I wasn't listening for the change in volume and tone, I wouldn't even paid attention. I would not have noticed. I mean, it definitely controls that proximity effect. I mean, you'd never have to worry about popping the mic or anything like that. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, and I like your gating. because obviously you're not getting real extreme, but it's enough to knock the background down and still come in, with all the detail and everything. So yeah, I like this audio chain you got going.
Let me try something. I'm going to go to the top of the chain. Like I said, I got the very first thing in the line is the ATK expander. And if I bypass that, you don't hear it. It's not really working very hard at all. Old session files I had, if I bypassed it, as soon as I hit the bypass, you'd hear, room noise and all this stuff. But here, if I bypass it, it's bypassed now, and no noise, and no noise. It really doesn't even need to be in there. I don't know. I think it's a carryover from a previous file, but it works pretty good. If I bypass the isotope ozone, no background noise to speak of there either. Yeah, I guess that's a good thing. Hey, let me go see how the food situation looks, and I'll eat really quick, and then I'll come back out here. I realized that as I was walking out, Jackie was in the process of making some victuals. So I shall return. Bobby Booshay, I'll let the gate roll. You can go ahead and do some testing. You can do some live listening and feed and whatever you're going to do. And I'll be back in a bit. There's nobody out here, no skip out here, so I'll hug up the channel. Catch you in a bit.
All right, John, I appreciate it. All right, we'll catch up with you here in a few minutes.
All right, and by the way, I'll let the YouTube feed get fed by the SDR. Let me switch this over here, so anything you're listening to right now from this point on will be the SDR feeding YouTube instead of the Drake. The Drake was selected before, and so now it's the SDR at 5 kilohertz. The Drake was set at 6 kilohertz. So anyway, now it's the SDR. All right, we'll catch you back in a bit. Motormouth Mall stepping.
10-4. Okay, good deal. That'll give me an idea of what's going on back to back with those two receivers. All right, man, I'll let you get going, and I'll play around out here for a little while. Take your time, no big deal, but we'll talk to you in a bit.
Sounds good.
Audio 1, 2, radio test. Audio. Okay, the revision, a little bit of tweaking on it. And I'm going to switch over to the old one, see what we can, see how much of a difference is in there. Do a back-to-back comparison. Audio test, radio. Okay, this is the original one. Audio test, radio 1, 2, radio, audio check, radio test, audio. I'm going to listen to that and see what the differences are. Audio test, radio. Okay, this is still the revised version. I'm gonna bump the mid-range up just a little bit. See if we can get a little more presence in there. Right now, 1625 hertz is at 4 dB. Gonna bump it up to take it up to 5 dB. So what happens? Okay, that's at 5 dB. That's only 1 dB difference. We'll see if that made any difference on the gate. I don't know if no scratchy. A little bit scratchy, a little bit muddy. All right, let's take a listen to that audio test.
Audio under.
Hey, you made it back.
That was good. Steak and different peppers all sauteed up, and onions, and taters, milk, all fueled up. What was I going to say? I guess 460 in Texas got a new toy. I'm dying for him to get it going. It's a little steel tube amp, small one, but nevertheless it should be kind of fun.
Okay, so what was he running before? I mean, he was getting out there pretty good.
He wasn't running a lot. I think he only had a 4-pill. And this improved and 6,000. So I make about 25 watt peaks somewhere around.
Oh yeah, especially Mother Nature. That's pretty. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do when I'm going to build a tube amp. Get away from these transistors. You know, I mean they're fine, but yeah, tube's the way to go.
Oh yeah. There's going to be a point where they're going to get hard to find. Yeah, and eventually their price is going to go up, and there's going to be some point where LD MOS is going to be the hot ticket for medium power stuff, up to 10 kilowatts or so. But in the meantime, and the way things are right now, I would still go with the tube. Personally, I would go with anything in the 3CX1520, even a 10. 10 will get you 24 or 25,000 watt peaks, still a little 8877 or a pair of 500Zs or something like that and do pretty well,
Yeah, I do want to. I think eventually I'd like to build build something that's only going to give me 3,000 or 4,000 watt peaks. I don't want any more than that, but I'd like to build a tube driver built into the amplifier so that I can just run the radio straight in. You know what I mean? I think in my mind, I think that would be cool. It would, kind of simplify things, or build them separately. I don't know, but I definitely don't want to, be part transistor, part tube if I can help it. I don't know that it's going to make any real difference in sound, but for longevity and linearity, I think that would probably be pretty good way to go.
Oh yeah, you can build a driver, all tube, driver, and final all in one box, and you can even, instead of getting separate transformers, you can have EPD make you a transformer that's got 2 taps. A tap at 45 or 4,800 volts, somewhere around there, 45, 4,200, 45, somewhere like that. And then another tap down lower, and 1,500, 1,800, 1,300. and then rectify those. And the lower voltage winding would be your driver stage, B+, and your higher voltage would be your final B+. And then do that with about a 2 amp, 1.5 to 2 amp transformer. I'd probably get a 2 amp transformer. And then doesn't hurt to have more. Then build the 3000 and then just loaf it. Don't push it for all it's got. And it'll last you a long time. It'll have all the headroom and peak that you want for when you want it. And yeah, it would do really, really well. That's what I would do. Just keep it simple. And yeah, build it all into one box. And even if you're building it for yourself, I'd build a box with a little built into it. It'll fit the computer and a little compartment that's reset shielded that'll fit the monitor. I'd make a stand-up, full-on floor model process driver and final.
Would be pretty cool. Yeah, I've been thinking about it. It's a while, but, something, of course, that'll run on 20, if I'm only 2,000, 4,000 watts. That, yeah, I don't want to get into any transfer or calling anything special or crazy. But yeah, I like get set up, just neat and clean and nothing too complicated. And then, my SDR set up, and I'll just have that on a separate computer. That way, nothing is going to interact with my processing computer. And I think that would probably be pretty good. I mean, I have another computer anyway. So keep it kind of separate. That way, if one starts acting weird, it doesn't affect the other.
Absolutely. Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, that would be a good project. You can get off the road and build a station. And yeah, I'll tell you what. Speaking of building stations, my antenna's getting close. The antenna is all done. The elements are stacked. Fly wires are done. Everything's all good. The Omega match is mounted to the boom. And I've got it mounted to the elements. The only thing I didn't do, the gamma rod on. Stuff online. A lot of people, and I'm building a capacitor that runs and then taps against the element. And depending upon that tap point, where it falls in, and then you got the inductive reactor and zero it all out. Well, anyway, I've read two things. One, I've read that when you use an Omega match, you can shorten that arm up. And so I can go from, all the calculations show that if I use a gamma match, it's going to be a 48-inch or 46-inch long arm. And with an Omega match, it should be half of that. So we got to find out for one if that's. And then I also read something else that was in, and I don't know what the validity of the truth, so nobody hold me to it. But they say that if you think the match rod, the element, people aids in creating the skew that again create the pattern skew in this particular the pattern supposedly eliminated, you turn the parallel gamma rod up 90 degrees so that it's in line with the director or the reflector and not hanging down or above. Supposedly that has some effect on the pattern, and it picks up the gain that you could lose by skewing the pattern. And they said that gain difference, it's not that it gives your antenna more gain, but it allows you to put the antenna back where it's supposed to be. They say that the loss due to skewing could be 1.4 or 1.25, I think is what it said, 1.25 dB. Well, that's quite a bit. So I'm thinking about designing mine so that the gamma rod sneaks up and around and comes out in front of the element beneath it.
I think pretty cool. Once you, it's going to get all that, you know, if you want it. So yeah, that sounds like it could be something else.
Yeah, and then have the ability to tune the match, you know, the impedance and the and the reactance, both have it tunable from here in the studio. That's going to be awesome. So I'll have rotor control. I'll have matching tuning network, you know, tuning network control, matching control. I'll have a bunch of gain, and the gain is, I mean, a bunch of gain. It's 14.29 dB at 6 on this frequency. It's 14 dB at 26.915, and it's 14.5 dB gain at 27.285, and that's where its peak gain is, and it's entirely inductive all the way up the scale from 26.915 up. So should be interesting. The matching network should be really happy with that.
Yeah, that'll be nice, man. You don't have to worry about any of that, and just sit there, like you said, in your studio. Just do it on the fly. Yeah, also, real quick, now I was listening to the gauge. It sounds like my S's are a little bit too sharp. I mean, are you hearing that up there? Sally cells, seashells. I mean, does it sound like they're piercing? They're coming through too much?
Nope, perfect. I like it. It adds a detail and a crispness, a sharpness. It's not objectionable. You know, I'm listening out at 5 kilohertz. Most radios don't even hear out that wide. Let me listen to it. I'll narrow up my bandwidth a little bit, and I'll listen to it more like a regular CB radio, see what I hear.
Okay. I also added a little bit more 1600 hertz. I was doing a little boost. I had that. It's a pretty narrow band. You know, I got the Q set at 10, so it's pretty narrow notch. I had it set at 4 dB, and when I was doing a little testing when you were gone, it sounded like it needed a little bit more, so I pushed it up to 5 dB. Does it sound like it's got enough presence in there, not getting too harsh or anything like that?
Nope, it's perfect. I like it. And even down at like 3,500 hertz, it sounded wonderful, really good. I went out to 5, and it sounds really nice. So well balanced, good presence, good bass, not too much reverb, no sibilance issues, no excess bottom end issues. Good, clean, loud, punchy, bodacious, healthy sounding audio they're breaking.
All right, good deal. Yeah, I'll listen to it on the gate later. But I'd like to get your opinion because you're there live, you know. Can't really replace live ears. Good. Yeah, I just need a little bit of tweaking, you know. I mean, it's just those little tiny things, man, you know, that I can't hear in my headphones, especially the bass. And you full well now understand, you know, the bass problem when you're trying to listen to your own audio this close, to your transmit radio. But, and as far as everything else goes, overall tone is the hardest part, the most challenging part, because sometimes when I'm listening to it and I'm setting it up, it'll sound like it's full and got a balanced tone, and, I'll get a couple of checks and it's harsh and sibilancy and everything else, and then I'll think, okay, I'll just roll in a couple dB at bottom end, but it changes the phase relationship, so it starts canceling out some of the mids and highs, and then before you know it, it's bubbly and garbly, and yeah. But, I guess we weren't glutton for punishment, we wouldn't be doing this, right?
Exactly. One of the nice things about isotope ozone is it has a phase correction or a phase adjustment control in it for each band. For example, if you go up to, where is it? Where was it? Up. Come on. Yeah, if you go into the multi-band harmonic exciter, pardon me, you'll see there's a delay in milliseconds for each band. You can have up to 4 bands. I'm only using 3. But you can have a delay in milliseconds on each band, so you can alter what happens at different frequencies, and I can shove it around and mix and match, and like you say, there could be some cancellation at certain frequencies that you may want to remove or accentuate. Usually remove, but I don't know if you can hear that difference. This is with the delay all the way up on the bass, and then this right here is with the delay all the way down. And I don't know, pardon me, I got a frog in my throat. I don't know if you can hear the difference, but that's all the way down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's all the way up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. All the way down sounds by far 10 times better. It cleaned it up and it gave the bottom end more definition. Didn't affect how much bass was there. It didn't change that at all. It just kind of got rid of that doubling effect, that smearing. With it all the way up, it was definitely creating some mud. With it all the way down, it was nice and clean and clear, precise, deeper sounding actually. Because I think that delay was kind of pushing it up towards the low mid area. It did something weird. But yeah, with it all the way down, it sounds deeper and more defined.
Now that being, pardon me, that being said, I had with my steak dinner and all that, I had milk. Bad thing when you're going to talk on the radio. Anyway, so that being said, then the band 2, the mids, which I currently have all the way down right now on the delay, I can change the delay on them now up to a full wide open right there and see what that does. If that makes any difference on the mids or the bass or anywhere else, or I'll go back down right there, back to where it was. Motor mouth malt, stepping.
It has a kind of a weird filling out effect. It kind of filled out kind of right around it sounded like between 300 and 900 hertz. It kind of brought that area up a little bit. All the way up sounded terrible. Well, not terrible. It didn't sound good. It got smeared. All the way down, it was almost kind of thin. If you can go like a quarter way up, try that.
All right. We'll go about a quarter way up right about there and see what that does. Right there, right now.
Go all the way down again. Let me hear it all the way down.
Okay, we'll go all the way down right now. There's all the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, maybe I was just used to hearing it with it up. To me, it sounds like sounds more broadcasty, and it's definitely cleaner and more detailed. What's the scale? I mean, is it like 0 to 100, or is it in percentages, or what is it?
It's in milliseconds, and it's 0 to 10 milliseconds. So right now it's at 0 milliseconds, and right now it's at roughly 3.5 milliseconds right there.
Okay, try 2 milliseconds.
Let me go to 2 right there. 2 milliseconds. There's 2 milliseconds right there.
I couldn't hear a difference between 2 and 3.5. Go down to 1.
Okay, we'll go down to 1 millisecond. Right there. 1 millisecond. Hello, test. 1, 2.
Yeah, I like that, man. It definitely kind of defined. It sounds cleaner and clearer without losing that grunt. You know, that sound. It made it more detailed. You know, the audio sounds more detailed.
I'm curious about this now. For detail, I would imagine that would happen up on band 3, which is the highs, which is now at 0, 0, and I'm going to take the highs up to about, there's 1.8, 1.5 right there on the highs. Sibilance, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go up to about 2.8 sibilance, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go up to about 4.5. Hello, test. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll go kind of wild to 10 milliseconds. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, leave it at 10 and talk a little bit, and then drop it down to 0, and let's see it. Let's hear it back to back so I can kind of get a grip on the range there.
All right, there's 10 milliseconds right there. Test. Sally sells seashells down by the seashore, and 0. Sally sells seashells down by the seashore.
I don't know, man. I didn't really hear much of a difference. I don't know why I'm not hearing that much of a difference there. How wide are you?
Well, pretty wide. I'm 7.5 kilohertz wide, but this particular change is occurring at 2.53 kilohertz and above. So your receiver may not be as sensitive up above 2.5 kilohertz, you know, as would be required for this particular test, maybe.
Yeah, well, that's the limit of this receiver. Actually, it goes up. It receives 200 to 2,500. You know, and there's a general roll-off. I mean, it's not like a brick wall, of course, you know that. But, yeah, maybe that's why I'm not really noticing that much of a difference in the top. But, you know, typically, I mean, this is a Stryker 955. I think most people have receivers that are receiving about this bandwidth. I don't know, man. I run it how you think it sounds good in your headphones, because I thought it sounded better when it was at 0. But when you did them back to back, I had trouble even, you know, I don't know if it was psychoacoustic, you know, if I'm just hearing because I'm expecting to hear a difference. But if in those cases, I generally think, okay, I'm not really hearing a difference. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm going to leave it at 0. I'll leave it alone. I didn't really hear much of a difference in my headphones either. I could hear a difference in the bass and the mid-range. You know, the bass was operating between about 20 hertz and 161 hertz. And the mids were operating between 161 and 2.53. So I definitely could hear a difference on those two, but I couldn't even hear in my own headphones. I couldn't hear a big difference in the highs. So I think I'm going to leave it alone. But yeah, it's... Did you get a chance? Did you look on that website, vstforfree.com, and take a look at that Smash Pro?
No, I didn't get a chance. I was playing with this. And just real quick, when you were talking right now, I could tell your audio was crisper, sharper, and cleaner. And that's only going to be above, right around 3K and above. So I am hearing a difference now. So you were talking more, and I got more of a grip on you. So yeah, it's actually, with all those down to zero, your audio is better to my ears.
Sure. All right. Sounds good. Well, I'm not going to go hog wild on those. Yeah, I'm glad I brought that up. It was just a neat little feature. In some cases, that may be something that you'd want to use and more of or less of. Of course, that's why they're there, and that's why they're adjustable. But I'm gonna get myself out of this before I get myself in trouble here. And yeah, the reverb's not over the top, is it? I don't have too much reverb.
I don't hear any reverb, actually. I wasn't even paying attention. No, I'm not hearing any.
I've got it back down to the point where I was barely able to detect it in the headphones. It's at a setting that, okay, so I'll come down to about, I don't know, negative, let's try -8. Let's see what that does right there.
I'm barely starting to hear it come in there. It sounds like it's got a pretty short tail. How long is the tail? I don't know if it's in milliseconds or seconds. It sounds like it's less than a half a second long, maybe a quarter second long. I'm barely starting to hear it come in there, though.
Well, it's actually 0.58 seconds long. And I'm going to raise the level up a little bit more right there. And then I'll bring the tail up from 0.58 up to about 0.8. There you go, right there, 0.8, and there's a little bit more reverb.
Okay, yeah, I'm starting to hear pretty good now. I think it might be just a touch too much, I think my tail's set at 0.741. That's where it's at. So 3/4 of a second to give you an idea, so that you can hear mine. And I always kind of think mine's a little bit too long, but it sounds more natural. But when it's too short or too long, it doesn't. Yeah, somewhere around 0.6, 0.7 seconds in length is probably pretty good. And I would drop it down just a tiny bit, maybe.
All right, 0.69, and I'm going to lower the level. It's at -546. I'm going to come down with it to about -9.3. -9.3 right there. See what that does.
Yeah, could you do a check test kind of thing? That way I can get an idea.
Check, test. Something sharp, abrupt, test. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. Maybe just a touch more. I know I'm kind of nitpicking, but maybe just a tiny bit more, and hear what that sounds like.
Let's see here. Just a little nudge more right there. Test. 1, 2, 3, 4. Test. On, off. Test.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I like that. It's got enough to add some ambience in there, but and it's noticeable, but it's not overdone for sure. I like it.
All right. Good deal, yeah. I like hearing a little bit more of it in the headphones. I don't want to go overboard on it, but I definitely like hearing a little bit of it here. Now, reverb's a funny animal in the sense that where the reverb is it's not always balanced equally across the acoustical range, right? It's not the amount of bass and reverb in the bass and the mid-range and the treble in relationship to the amount of dry audio isn't always equal. Hence, if you get a radio that's a narrow-banded radio and you turn the reverb up to a level that it can hear, it's very possible that a wider radio is going to hear all the reverb above and below what the narrow radio can't. And you may think, oh my God, there's too much reverb, so then you turn it down. Which is, I think, what I did on my case here. I turned it down because I could hear it quite a bit in this radio, in my headphones. Not quite a bit, but I could hear it. So I assumed it would be too much. But now it's definitely noticeable. But you're saying you can hear it on your radio, so that's a good thing.
I think that sounds absolutely perfect right there. Yeah, I don't like a whole bunch either, man. I like it to... I like it to be noticeable, but not, distracting kind of thing, just enough in there to, to where almost somebody may not even notice it unless you kind of point it out to them. Other people will notice it right away and say it's got way too much. I get the comments back and forth either way. But yeah, I actually, I high pass my reverb at 650 hertz because it just gets too boomy down there, man. It'll start sounding like I'm in a barrel or something, and then I low pass it at 3K, but then, I carve out the mids right around 1K, so it's, but yeah, I like the way yours sounds. It's got a good tone to it, it's not covering your audio to where it's smoothing it out, the detail, the transients are still getting through, and that's really what you want. Those transients need to get through. And that way the reverb just kind of sits behind your voice, and that's the way it sounds right now. I like it.
10-4. Well, I think that'll work then. I think I'll leave it like this for a little while. As a matter of fact, I'm going to save it. I've got it labeled default AM 2. I'll put an A after it. Save as... Actually, I'm going to put... Oh, wrong keyboard. Doggone it. I hate this. I have too many keyboards here. I hit the wrong one. This is the one I want to hit. Anyway. Save. All right, there we go. I got it saved.
Yeah, good deal. That way, if anything, you can just refer back to a good reverb setting. That way you can throw it on and listen to it and kind of match it up in your headphones with the next chain you set up. I used to do that with some of mine. Yeah, but true, like you were saying, man, reverb is a little bit challenging, man, because for me, if I turn it to where it sounds good in my headphones, nobody can hear it out there. I mean, it's just, they just can't hear it. And in my headphones, it always sounds like it's too much. But like right now, what you're hearing in my headphones, it's like barely noticeable. So I think it's kind of opposite. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yep. Absolutely. So in addition, of course, to having some radios that are susceptible to hearing the reverb in that range and some that aren't, it gets kind of goofy. So I think I like what I'm hearing now, and I think you have a pretty good judge of what sounds pretty good on your end. And you're listening to a radio which is representative of what most people have, and I'm listening to a receiver that's representative of more of the wide band. Not exceptionally wide. I think, like I said, I got the, what? Oh, come on. Oh, man, I can't type and talk at the same time. All right. Anyway, Yeah. So I think if it sounds good on both ranges, I think it sounds good.
Yeah, because like you were saying, I mean, I got, excuse me, the radio, that I'm using, it does pretty much represent probably, I don't know, 80% or more, of people that are going to be hearing your audio anyway. So yeah, that sounds good, man. I like it. It gives it a bigger sound, That's the thing I like about reverb. It kind of, we can only go so wide and stay on the channel for people to hear what we're actually transmitting. That reverb kind of adds a little bit of depth and a little bit of width, but mostly it gives just a little bit of a dimension, takes it out of that 2D flat plane, a little bit.
Yep, exactly right.
Hey, John, you hear Grandpa out here lately?
No, I haven't heard Grandpa out here in, I guess, close to a week. Sometimes he's listening. Hey, Grandpa Jones, are you out here?
Yes, I am, Watermouth. Good evening, Bobby Booshay.
Don't be dipped. How you doing?
The last 2 times I've been here, I hadn't had a chance to talk to you. Yeah, it's cool. I'm glad you're out there. Yeah, good evening. I don't know how long it's been. I mean, I think the last time we talked was actually maybe in Skipland. I think it was at the yard. And then we roll those 5s to each other through other radios every once in a while. So, yeah, good to hear you.
That's good to hear you too, Bobby. Yeah, I'm not running any juice. It's just barefoot. My voice is starting to change a little bit. I've lost some teeth since I talked to you last. I had a gold bridge in the right side bottom of my mouth. It came out on me yesterday. It's a gold bridge. It's been in there since, the late 50s, early 60s. So I guess it was due to come out. But anyway, you guys are sounding good out there this evening. One pleasure there, Brady.
Yeah, 10-4, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'd say you got some mileage out of that thing. And that's, what is that, 70 years? 70 years you had that bridge. Yeah, I think you definitely got your money's worth.
That's right, I did. No doubt about it. Well, my old dentist, I'm sure, has been gone for a long time. But at the time, he was one of the best in town. He was an instructor. As well as having his own practice, he was an instructor. And he was one of the best around at the time. So, yep, I got the best use out of it anybody could have.
Yeah, good deal. I just had to, I don't know, I think it was, it was last year, towards the end of last year, I had to get a root canal, 2 root canals on one of my front teeth and then the one next to it. Had an infection up in there, and that thing was bugging me for 3.5 years, and I went in and they finally, I finally got in there and they did the root canals on it. Both my front teeth they're not real anyway. They're crowns. I knocked them out when I was I think I was 23 years old, something like that, 24. And one of them had a root canal on it done at that time. The other one didn't. And so that one started giving me trouble, and finally got them taken care of. And man, there's nothing worse than teeth pain,
All right. Yeah, I know. I've had plenty of that in my day. Every now and then I have a little problem because I'm missing a whole lot of my teeth. There's holes there, and they haven't filled in yet on the ones that are missing. The holes haven't filled in, but when they do the pain kind of goes away. And every now and then I have to take a Tylenol at bedtime so I don't wake up with a problem. But it's just part of getting old, Bobby. Sooner or later, something's always going to get you. If it ain't your teeth, it's your liver or your kidneys or something like that. But that's just the way it goes when you get old. Yeah, I'm 83 now, my last birthday. So, you can't expect things like that, I guess.
Yeah, 10-4. Yeah. Yeah, well, there's no way out for any of us, I don't think, when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I guess we just take it as it comes, Not much else we could do, I don't think.
Yeah, roger that. Hey, speaking of Skip, this morning about, it was a little early. It was about 6:45, 7, somewhere in there. I was skipping around the channels listening for some Skip, which there wasn't any anywhere. I was over on channel 22, and I was, just screwing around over there, and some fella come back in there, and he was in Twin Falls, Idaho, I think it was. Twin Falls. His name was Ernie, and he had a dog in his lap, and we talked to about 3 keys, and he said it was quiet up there in his end. All the locals were gone from up there. Nobody was on the air, but he said there was a lot of smoke in the air, but that dog in his lap made it kind of hard to talk to him. But that's about all the Skip I shot today. Yesterday evening, about 7:30, late in that now, but about 7:30 yesterday evening, I talked to 45 Kilo up on 17, and it was short Skip, as usual. But anyway, it's really been rough on the Skip lately, Everett.
Yeah, that's more than I gotten, I think. I haven't gotten any Skip in days. I don't know when the last time I talked to 45 Kilo there for a little while. I was talking to him probably every other day for a 3 weeks or so. And then, Mother Nature, she just kind of faded back out, taking a summer break, I guess.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, that's the way it's better, Well, listen, I'll let you know when I get back your cumulative testing, because you don't have much time, I know either. So I'll get out of the way and say hello to Motor Mouth and tell him that, I haven't been out here. I haven't been over on 6 for a long time. So you guys go ahead on, and I'll just kind of sit back and listen.
All right, Grandpa. Well, it's good talking to you. And if we don't talk to you, this evening again, then we'll definitely catch up with you tomorrow on the way out or something.
All right, Bobby. It's been a pleasure talking at you. It always is. You have a safe trip home. And if it's like this tomorrow, are you leaving sometime in the morning?
No, we got to get loaded at some point tomorrow. We don't have an appointment time yet, so we're kind of waiting to see. I'll find out in the morning. And then either way, I'll be on the ball or 28 or somewhere in between wherever you're going to be, and I'll definitely give you a holler.
All right, Bobby, that'll be fine. Yeah, I was going to say the road's going to be slick. This marine layer we've got has been in here all day today. I think the sun tried to come through, but it didn't make a trip. And it was the same way yesterday. But the dew on the road is making the oil, on the road awful slick. So you have to be kind of careful when you head home.
Yeah, 10-4. We'll try not to put this thing in drift mode and try and keep it between the lines. 10-4.
Roger, I'm between the lines. All right, Bobby. I'll catch you when I hear you again. You have a good one, buddy.
All right, Grandpa. We'll see you.
Hello there, Grandpa Jones. Good to hear you out there. It's been a little while.
Yes, it has, Motormouth, and this on the motivation, as usual. When you and Bobby get together, you talk so far over my head, I can't tell what's going on.
Audio coming out of that thing. I don't have your real strong in here. I tried various different antennas, but I think I did hear you say you were barefoot. Right?
Roger, I am barefoot. I was going to ask you about that antenna problem. You said you couldn't hear me on one of your antennas, but anyway, funny things happen every now and then.
Roger. Normally when I change from my vertical to my horizontal, I have a pretty noticeable difference. And I tried that with your signal just now, and there was no difference. Very strange.
I know what you mean. Well, that's the way it goes from time to time. Well, I've noticed something lately. Sometimes my radio, my ground noise will go down, way down to where it's barely noticeable. Is that a change in my power? My power coming out of the wall into the radio, is it drifting, or is it receding and coming back, or what is the situation there?
I don't know, that noise, it's been moist out there, and the moisture, your PG&E power has not been transferred all underground yet. They're still above ground. And you got all those insulators around there, and I suspect that they're dusty, dirty, and the moisture is causing them to maybe try to arc a little bit, or, you get that noise generated by the insulators. So it could be that that's what that is.
Roger, could be. Yeah, well, it just goes way down, my receive level. I know it goes way down and then it comes back. But, yep, I guess that's what it is. It don't seem to affect you too much, though, most of the time. So I'll just have to live with what I got, I guess.
Well, aside from the noise going away and coming back, do the signals of the people that you're talking to, but if the signal of the person you're talking to stays the same, then that shows that your antenna and your coax is probably okay. If the signal drops at the same time that the noise floor drops, then that would indicate that you might have a coax problem.
Roger that. Well, like I say, it's hard to tell. But anyway, I'll live with it, whatever it is. It hasn't seemed to change my ability to get out. But as far as somebody coming back in their signal level, that seems to be, well, to my recollection, that's still about the same.
Yeah, I think you're just hearing noise between atmospheric noise and power line noise. I think is all you're hearing. It's okay. It's not going to worry. I don't think it should worry you any. But yeah, it's. Hopefully we'll get some more skip here before long. It's been awfully dead for a while. It's been really, really quiet. But I guess we're not the only ones experiencing that at the moment. Yes, job, and then I'm still waiting for the final parts for the direction, indication, the feedback modules, what the guy calls it. Anyway, I'm waiting for that to show up, and the control box. And I got to build the gamma rod coming out of the box, the LTU, where the two capacitors are, that comes out to feed the element. So once I get that done, it won't be long before I raise up another antenna they're breaking.
Roger that. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are waiting on it. I know you've been talking to them on the media, social media, YouTube and all that. And I'm sure they're going to be happy to hear you when you get that thing set up. I know you've been getting a lot of inquiries about it, Ray.
Some will be happy, and some won't be happy. Anyway, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it works. It's a 14.2 dB, 14.29 at channel 6 and 14.5 dB on channel 28. It's a bunch of dB. So it's all about the birds and the bees there, Grandpa Jones. The bird watts and decibels. Motormouth Mall got down.
That Motormouth. Well, I'm waiting for the day when you get out there and when you key up, 766 goes away and somebody says, "Hey, 766, Motormouth Mall just walked all over you." I'm waiting for that.
Well, we'll see. That'll be interesting. That would be nice.
Well, it certainly would. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll give you a little time. I know you've got a lot of time. Yeah, all right, well, I'll check it out and check out with you, and let's get back to Bobby. Been a pleasure talking to you, Motormouth. I'll be on the side.
All right. I know one thing for sure. I've never had all at the same time the biggest amp that I have now and a big antenna at the same time. I had the big antenna under driver, the big 117-foot Yagi into driver, and I had the big box and an assortment of smaller antennas, including the omnidirectional that I'm on right now. But I've never had the big box and a big antenna at the same time. So it's going to be real interesting. I know it's going to put a dent in someone's radio. Anyway, all right there, Grandpa Jones. Take care. Have a good evening. Motormouth Malls, stepping.
Motormouth's been a pleasure. All right, I'll be on the side listening for a little bit, and then I got to get me some munchies for my tummy. We'll see both of y'all. Grandpa's back out.
10-4-7-3.
Motormouth.
Okay, so I forgot to check my modulation when I made those changes, and I'm definitely under modulating. So I gotta put a little more fire in the wire.
Ooh, a little more fire in the wire. All right, good deal. No condition, spaceman. I just now looked at the phone, look at the comments on all the various different people chiming in there from YouTube. And hello to everybody. A Motormouth Mall waving and stepping. It got down, breaker.
Okay, so I put just another, another 1/10 of a dB in there. Looks like it brought it back up. Yeah, audio. 1, 2, radio check, audio test, radio. Okay, yeah, it's back up to about 98, 99%. And positive peaks are right around 125, about 125. See occasionally 130%. So yeah, that should sound okay.
Oh yeah, I could tell it got louder. It definitely got louder. I'm so low on my. I don't think REA is hooked up to the right spot. Let me see what REA says. I'm so low on my, I use a real oscilloscope for all my actual measurements because the REA is only hooked up to one spot. And due to various different things, it's not usually the best spot, but I didn't have it in mind for my main monitor. Hello, test. Yeah, I'm undermodulated as well. I'm sitting at about 75% negative peaks and about 70% positive peaks. So I'm symmetrical, more or less, and undermodulated. So let me raise my audio up here to where it seems like it's okay. Hello, audio test. All right, there we go. Now I'm at 100% negative peaks. Hello, test, 1, 2. And 120% positive peaks.
Yeah, that's a big difference right there. That's quite a big difference. I guess, you'd expect, especially on those negative peaks, 75% up to, 100%, that's going to be pretty big. And it definitely sounds like it. So yeah, that's a whole lot better. I wasn't even paying attention to that. I was just kind of tunnel visioned on, in on the actual audio itself. I wasn't, you were down low, as far as, not coming in crazy, but I figured you were on your driver or your baby driver and you were just kind of lobing. But yeah, I like it, man. What's the power output? What are you keying and what's it peaking?
I'm keying about 25 watts and peaking somewhere in the neighborhood of about 125, 130, 135 maybe. maybe 140. It could be peaks of 140, dead key of 25, and it is just the baby driver. I don't have the driver or the big box on, so all solid state mode right now.
Okay, yeah, well, it's hitting me at 7, good solid 7S units. Yeah, you know, but I was just thinking too, this might be overmodulated if I'm on channel 28 because my power output is a little bit lower down towards channel 1. And, you know, because the radio puts out slightly more power as you go up. So, you know, the carrier doesn't really, well, yeah, the carrier changes too. I don't know. I usually set it up on channel 23 because I bounce between 17 and 28 and channels in between, and 23 is pretty much center for the most part. And so I usually set my modulation up on 23, and then, you know, as long as it's not over modulating on 28, you know, just kind of every once in a while touching the red light, that's fine. And then it usually sounds good everywhere else. But I'm down here on 6, you know, and that's pretty far away from there as far as the power output. So I don't know. I'd have to check it later.
Roger. Well, you're up there fluctuating around 7.5S units over here on my radio. And I don't have the antenna pointed your way. I don't think. I'm looking into Arizona. So which cooler are you at right now? Where are you parked?
I'm over here pretty much on Betaravia and for Pappy's or something. I'm at cooler just east of that. So I'm parked in the same spot. But yeah, normally I'm hitting you, you know, I'm sitting at around 9 or so. Cherry patch, you know, from the spot that I'm at right now. So yeah, it's definitely down.
Roger. Yeah, I've probably got the null of the antenna pointed that way. But yep, I know right where you are. Oh, what a trip. Well, if you got time, you're not... Well, it's dark and you've never been up here, so it's probably not a good idea now. I was going to say, man, you got time, you got up here early. You should have cruised up here. Or I should have come down and picked you up and brought you up here.
I know, I thought about that. You know, I don't like to leave CJ in the truck, you know, when it's dark, of course. But, yeah, depending on what's going on tomorrow, you know, if you got time, maybe we can arrange something. I'm definitely looking forward to getting up there, man. I still haven't been up there.
Roger. Well, there's plenty of room to bring your truck up here, and there's plenty of room to drive around. Or, if you want, I can come grab you in the morning, and you can come check it out while it's daylight. And then, you know, if CJ wants to stay there. But if you want to bring the big truck up here, there's plenty of room to turn around. I've had all kinds of big rigs up here. There's 20 acres, so you're pretty sure to be able to get turned around and get back out. So anyway, either way. But yeah, if you're not scheduled and you don't have anything going on specific, then, you know, you want to come up here, you're certainly welcome to.
Yeah, 10-4, okay. Yeah, I'll see what, well, right now I'm out of hours, so I can't really do anything, but, well, I can't actually do anything. But, yeah, we barely made it here, man. We left Kingman, Arizona this morning and went down and delivered down there in L.A., and then we ended up here. So, yeah, it's quite a few miles, but it was the time that ate up the clock. But yeah, you know, tomorrow, you know, I'll in the morning, you know, I'll find out what time our appointment it actually is, and yeah, if we got time, man, we'll cruise up there. That'd be really cool.
All right, sounds good. Awesome. Well, you know, I'll be. I can wake up as early as, you know, I don't know how much time it would be good to have, you know, but I'll be up, or feel free to text me or leave a message or whatever early. And I'll, and call me anytime after 7, and I'll get up and get all ready, and that way you can come up here and take a look at it and put the eyeballs here and all that good stuff. So, and then still make it back in time for your appointment, whenever that is.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds good, man. We'll definitely keep that option on the table. I don't know, like I said, I have no idea what time the appointment's going to be, or exactly which cooler. They just told me to come here, so we're still waiting on that information. But they'll send something to me in the morning, probably, I don't know, around 8 o'clock or so. That's usually about the time we start getting our information, so yeah, probably around 8 o'clock I'll know exactly what's going on, and then we can go from there.
Sounds like a plan. Very cool. All right. Awesome. Yeah, you get a kick out of this crazy stuff. It's a little bit of a mess sometimes, but it's different, that's for sure.
Well, you know, I'd like to check out your listening room as well. I mean, have you done any work in there as far as your setup?
No, I kind of took a break from all that for a bit. I haven't got the wall treatments up yet, or the diffusers on the back wall yet. I've got the little panels. I'm using the little, the 2-foot polystyrene panels, and they're sounding really good. Just have the 418s, the 212s, and the little polystyrene panels. They sound incredibly good for what they are. They're just mind-blowing. But no, I haven't done anything more than that in a long time.
Yeah, I understand, man. You got a whole lot of other stuff going on. Yeah, I'd still like to check it out for sure. But yeah, I'd like to. You know, I don't know, how many years have I known you now? 7 years, 8 years, something like that. Yeah, it'd be nice to finally get up there and see the station. And yeah, it'd be really cool to meet Jackie and everything else. And well, you met CJ, you know CJ, but yeah, that'd be nice.
Roger. Tomorrow's Thursday, which means Jackie might be at work. I think she might be. Pardon me, damn it. That milk before you go talking on the radio is not a good idea. A drip coffee system would be a good idea. Yeah, I think she's got to be in San Ynez tomorrow at probably about 10. So she probably won't leave here until about 9 o'clock, a little after 9. So very possibly she might be here. But I know she's got to work tomorrow in San Ynez to break.
All right. Well, you know, well, hopefully it'll work out, and yeah, we'll do what we can for sure. But yeah, that sounds good, man. I'll either way, I'll let you know. Now, you going to be on the radio tomorrow at all?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll have it turned up, and I've been keeping it turned up quite a bit lately, but you know, it's been awfully quiet out there. So every time I walk by, I just hear. But yeah, I'll have the radio turned on. I'll certainly try the phone first, because if I'm not actually in the radio room, I may not hear it. I could be out in the backyard working on some stuff or whatever. But I do have radio work to do. I got to finish up 2 radios and get them out of here. So I'll probably be in the radio room, or you know, across the hall or the shop.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'll probably, well, I still, you know, the changes I made to this, I have no idea what it sounds like. I was just kind of shooting blind, making changes, you know, just kind of by memory. Because I can't monitor my audio when I'm talking. There's too much latency, man. I'll stumble, you know, if I can say audio check, radio test, 1, 2, you know, that's all I can get out. If I actually try to have a conversation with somebody, you know, with my headphones on, I I sound like somebody with a really bad stutter that just downed a fifth of Jack or something. I mean, it's pretty. Yeah, and I'm not making fun of people with a stutter, but it's kind of hilarious. But yeah. So yeah, I'll probably be on. I'll throw the headphones on tonight and take a listen to this and see if there's anything in there that's bugging me or not. And that way I can maybe get on the gate tomorrow and be able to hear it.
10-4. Well, I tell you what I'm going to do. I haven't done this yet. I think you've been listening to the. Well, I did play the playback earlier, but here I'm going to play me back. Let me know if my audio on my playback sounds remotely the same as I do. Yeah, I'll have it turned up, and I've been keeping it turned up quite a bit lately, but if that sounds like me in real life or live or Memorex, can you tell the difference? But I do have radio work to do. I got to finish up 2 radios. So there's that, and there's this right here, right now.
I literally could not tell the difference. I mean, it sounded exactly the same. I couldn't hear a difference. I did hear a difference on the playback of me versus listening and watching the gate. There was a difference there. But on your audio just now, I mean, I couldn't tell if you were live or if it was the playback.
Wow, what a trip. The squirrel's dead there, Todd. I thought you knew that. Yeah, the squirrel's dead. Here, let me play this back now.
I could not tell the difference. I mean, it sounded exactly the same. I couldn't hear a difference. I did hear a difference on the playback of me versus listening and watching the gate. There was a difference there. But on your audio just now, I mean, I couldn't tell if you were live or if it was the playback.
There you go. That's what I heard in my receiver right here, right now.
Yeah, on the playback of me, it sounds like there's just a boatload of compression happening. I mean, I sound totally squashed. A lot of compression going on. But for some reason, your audio itself, I can't tell the difference.
Oh, well, you know what? I might have it turned up too loud. Let me do this again here. Let me turn me off.
It's like there's just a boatload of compression happening. I mean, I sound totally squashed. A lot of compression going on. But for some reason, your audio itself, I can't tell the difference.
Oops, sorry. I had it turned up too loud. Yeah, that should have sounded better.
Actually, when it got louder for a second, it opened up and sounded normal, and then it went back to being squashed and quiet. So yeah, it's actually really low in volume, but really squashed.
So even if I turn it, so here, I'll play it back here again, but this time a little louder.
Actually, when it got louder for a second, it opened up and sounded normal, and then it went back to being squashed and quiet. So yeah, it's actually really low in volume, but really squashed.
I gotta turn me back up. I have to turn myself. I gotta put a ducking system in here. I didn't want to put a gate, but I gotta put a ducking on here so that when I'm playing a gate, it turns the gain down on the. I gotta use a side tone or something, and make it so that when I play anything off the computer, it turns down the mic gain for me, so that my room noise doesn't mix with what I'm playing back. But how did that sound?
It sounded the same. I didn't hear any difference. I mean, it sounds like it just sounds like it's really, really over compressed. Does it now with your ears? I mean, does my audio sound like it sounds pretty normal? You're not hearing it sounding squashed out?
No, you sound totally normal here, and not overly compressed. All of my audio and my session file has been made to work with my final processor piece of gear, which is the Volumax 4000. And it's very possible that because your audio is coming right off the computer, going right into the console, and directly into the VolumeX 4000, that your audio is being compressed and limited to that point. Yeah, there could be something going on there. And then if I turn the level down to the point where it's not enough to hammer the VolumeX, then it's going to be way too low to even monitor. Because, well, they're good for showing people, you know, if they made the trip or not, but not for the kind of stuff we're doing.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, that's kind of a thing that to try to navigate through for sure. But to give you an idea of what the playback of me sounds like, it sounds like I've got about 12 to 15 dB of extra added compression, like it's just being squashed real, pretty hard. Sounds kind of bad. But, yeah, I understand what you're saying, you know, to keep those levels up high enough, you know, it's being just
well, that's what the VolumeX 4000 does. So, yeah. See this?
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, that's kind of a...
VolumeX is deep into the red. This doesn't have... Yeah. Simple bypass.
A thing to try to navigate through for sure. But to give you an idea of what the playback of me sounds
The only way I could bring that level low
12 to
would be to turn the
of extra added compression.
turn the modulator volume up.
About 12 to 15 dB of extra added compression, like it's just being squashed. What you're saying, you know, to keep it high enough. It's that's definitely the right direction. It sounds like now, like bassy, 100 hertz sound. Gotten far it was kind of being now, and it started to open up a little bit though.
So that you can't hear the bottom end. So you can't properly, and the more that men gets fed up in. Let me turn my audio back down again. I'm grossly over my.
Okay, well that wouldn't be good because if that's the case, then that's going to be how I sound in everybody's radio. So maybe I do. Well, no, negate. No, that's different too. Is there a speaker in the bottom of the radio, or do you have an external speaker hooked up to it? And yeah, that because obviously, I mean, I don't know, most external speaker. I know a lot of people. They're cheap to buy. Will do listening from external.
The I don't remember I routed it. headphones, but oh my God, your audio is dialed in perfect. It's amazing. Yeah, it's bodacious. It's clean, clear, articulate, perfect. Wow. Catch you later, Todd. Have a good evening. I see the YouTube is having a problem. Anyway, catch you later on there, Todd. Motor Mouth Mall. No, just pretty. Anyway, I'm gonna go inside, hang out with Jeff, this thing off, and it'll post when it posts, and we'll catch you later on. 7-3. Have a good evening. We'll catch you mañana morning.